fucking this chapter. This is what you call an amazing chapter. We get Touka, we get Yomo, we know that freaking Suzuya is back and he's got his own ghoul squad. Just this chapter was epic for a start. Touka, man. Touka is looking good. At the end of this chapter, basically it ends with Kaneki going around with his squad and they go to a coffee shop. This coffee shop is entitled Ri, so that's where the title of this series has come from. It's Ri, it's the new coffee shop. Inside this coffee shop, we see Touka, we see Yomo. Just too unbelievably awesome. Now, Yomo looks like pale as balls when he sees like Sasaki come in. So I'm assuming he knows something. I can't see Touka not, like, at least assuming there's something off with this setting. But I feel like when we get into the next chapter, or if we even see what happens, Yomo's just going to pull her to the side so nothing, like, extreme can happen. But I just feel really bad for Touka because, like, she's had to put up with so much shit with Kaneki, like him running off and, like, not seeing her while she was, like, preparing for her exams and all that lot. And he comes back and he's not even going to remember her. So I feel really bad for Touka right now, but there's just so much in this chapter, like, to talk about. So to talk off, we'll start off with Suzuya. The fact we find out he's got his own ghoul squad, and the fact we find out when he first met Kaneki or Sasaki, he gives him back his money which he stole from way back when, which I just thought was really a nice little tie-in for the entire thing, because it shows that he knows that who Sasaki's real personality is, and it's just nice for his character to do that because it's very fitting for just the way we've seen him. It's a little bit interesting about the new villain who's been brought in, Nutcracker, because of the fact in this chapter we get shown and brought back to Suzuya, because obviously he's got no balls. They got crushed by his like little ghoul person who like brought him up years ago. So I thought that was interesting. I'm not sure if that's a tie-in from that plot ages ago, because I'm not sure if he killed her or if it's actually going to be the same person or someone who's related. But either way, it's a nice tie-in because they're going to be related somehow, and they're probably going to work on the case together to find this Nutcracker person. As well as that, Uri in this chapter, once again, he's just bloody power hungry as always. He goes and speaks to the doctor who I think is in charge of the transplants and all that lot, and he's basically asking how he can get more power, how he can be like Sasaki, because he's seen how like amazingly powered Kaneki is. And we find out that the implants that the Ghoul Squad have, they have like a controller setting on them. At the moment they're all set on the second setting and they go all the way up to 5, and it's in increments of 20%. I think it's like each increment allows more of the RC cells to come through from the original implantment. So at the moment they're only on 40%, but I feel like the more they're going to get, the less they're going to be able to control it, and the more their body is going to transform into like a real ghoul. So I can see why the doctor's telling him not to do that, but obviously Uri's like a little fucking, he's power hungry as balls, so he's clearly gonna try and up his power somehow, and that's more than likely gonna be the way. So at the moment I can see Uri ended up being a villain at some point in this chapter. Like, there's so much in this chapter. As well as that, we also see that Ayato is 100% the rabbit, so I was a little bit wrong on that, but I like the way that CCG is really stupid and they think that the rabbit was always Ayato, so they think it was always this dude, even back when it was Touka back killing the inspectors with Mado and all that lot in, I think it's zone 20, 21. I can't remember the original one where Touka started off, which is very interesting because it goes along the lines of Ayato's really doing that just so he can protect his sister. That's why I feel like he's took up that mantle and he's carried on being the rabbit, other than the fact it's easy for him to be the rabbit because he's got some power. But the fact that CCG, the doves just think it's him, I think he's definitely doing it for some sort of affection for his sister. He really likes his sister. He loves her because Touka's, you know, Touka wants to live a normal life, so I feel like that's why he's doing it, which also makes me think of why Hinami is with him and staying with him. They know that Hinami is a ghoul, so there's no way that she could get around the whole fact of trying to have a normal life. So I guess I can understand even more now why she decided to stay with them and at least like help out, because there's no way she'd have a normal life. They know what she looks like now. Overall, just a fucking epic chapter. Like, I'm sure there's some more things because I've literally just read it that I'm forgetting to talk about right now, but just so much stuff happened, like, just so damn good. Like, the fact that Juzo's going to be training, I think it's Masuki with knives, that'll be interesting as well, which has just been, though the interaction we're going to get between Kaneki and Juzo's just going to be fucking baller, and I cannot wait for it, and I cannot wait to see what sort of reaction Toka's going to have, because she come out and she said, oh, you're supposed to greet the customers, so I think she's already seen who's walked in, but she hasn't clocked on yet. But Yomo was looking white as balls, so I feel like he's definitely clocked on. So overall, really, really interesting chapter. Cannot wait for the next one. I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. The only thing which would have been better was to see some sort of reaction on Toka's face. That would have given it a 10 for me. But overall, an amazing chapter. Let me know in the comments below on what you thought and what's going to happen. What do you think about the whole Juzo knowing who Sasaki is, the whole wallet thing, about the Nutcracker, and if they're related anyway. But overall, awesome chapter. I've been Harry. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that great stuff, and I shall see you soon. Goodbye.